Consulting is like a very fast-paced environment, and there we are thrown into the ocean when we are expected to pick up the skills. They don't just come and spoon-feed us. So in that way, sometimes it gets intimidating, but then it's more about how you kind of survive and come out of it. You just have to pull yourself and then push yourself and say, yeah, okay, this is what I can do. I look forward to it. You have to enjoy the entire process. If you enjoy the process, then the entire experience is fun and easy. Right from my school days, I always wanted to do an MBA. It was like I loved organizing events and seeing people take leadership of what to do and then guiding the entire team. So that's when I got the curiosity to know how to drive a team, work along with them, get to know more about them, and then play to their strengths especially. So this was one of the main reasons why I realized myself that okay, I was not fit for technical, and then I'll move into the management part of it. When doing my UG third year, I thought okay, I'll give CAT and then see what happens to life. So as I gave that, I was not able to clear it the first time. So I took a year break. So during that year, I gave some time to explore about myself. So I did an internship with revenue management from Taj Fisherman's Cove. And then I moved on to Infosys. I was there in Mysore for about 3 months. And then COVID happened. So that was the right time when we got the results and CAT results were out. I was able to crack it the second time. And then, yeah, eventually I ended up in Great Lakes. I was very sure that I had to join that year. I didn't have any dilemma about not joining, and it was like, yeah, after 2 years anyway, there will be a rampant business, and I thought, okay, this is the perfect time to join a B school. Like everyone, I also looked for like placements, good alumni, and then the entire campus life needs to be really good, be it academics or the placements and all of it. So that was one of the considerations. And when it came to Great Lakes, I was pretty sure that Great Lakes was one of the top B schools, and then it had a very good analytics program. So analytics is like the talk of the day, and then I wanted to get into it and see what it is like. So today there's no business without analytics. And then I think that kind of strengthened my decision of coming to Great Lakes. Like all through my school days and at least partially in my UG, I've always been this introverted kid who was very silent. Though I took up initiatives, I was always a silent person who was little hesitant to go and talk. And so I just wanted to develop that, be a little more extroverted. So I think Great Lakes gave me that opportunity to be more extroverted. I'm taking this time to introspect myself to see what my strengths are and improve on like more about the leadership skills, and then give some time to myself, think more about developing my leadership communication skills or be the presentation skills. So all the B school activities have helped me really develop and hone all of them. I always looked up to operations. So I realized that I was a proper operations person, and then I thought I'll look for operation companies. I was really interested in consulting. So my natural choice was operations, consulting and analytics. So I didn't look for any particular company. Right when the internships were going on full swing, I thought like, yeah, McKinsey came at the right time, and that gave me the opportunity to kind of apply for it. And I started going through their case studies, their website, and how they went about the interviews and all. So particularly when we had received the JD, I had one of the mock PIs with my super seniors who was working with McKinsey. His inputs kind of helped me, they were very valuable and helped me in cracking the interview. So interviews happen on 2 particular days. So with 4 rounds of interviews that happened on 2 days. So initially we had the CV shortlist, and after the CV shortlist we had this embellish test, which is particularly game test, which to identify your personality. Post that we had 4 rounds of interviews. So the interviews were a mix of case studies, guesstimates, behavioral, and then we had some questions about leadership and personality. So there was nothing intimidating as such, but then it was fun to sit through the interview. Like I never knew that time flew by for all the interviews. I started preparing for the cases very early on, even before I received the McKinsey JD. So that case study preparation helped me have cracked all my interviews particularly. It gave me a very holistic perspective on what aspects to consider, what not to consider. And then we need to have a very structured approach while solving those cases. So the previous case interviews helped me have that proper structured approach. So the first round I was given a case study based on my prior internship experience. So that I was able to give a very holistic perspective considering all aspects to that case study. So I think that was one thing which really stood out. And then coming to the third round, it was a mix of both behavioral and personality interview. So I was given a situation and I was asked how will I react. It was more a mix of behavioral, and then I was stressed on about it, like what will you do on top of it. So I think that stood out for me, like being proactive and asking them questions and showing them, if at all I didn't know anything, was just open and said that okay, I didn't know it at this point of time, but then I'll go back to learn. So that willingness to learn was always there within me. So I think that stood out for me during the interviews. So in our internship, generally we tend to work on internal projects which we do for the company. So that involves some amount of coding or some working on a particular tool. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, we get to work on client projects as well. Those are the 2 roles predominantly students from PGDM get to work in their internships. Consulting is like a very fast-paced environment, and there we are thrown into the ocean when we are expected to pick up the skills. They don't just come and spoon-feed us. So in that way, sometimes it gets intimidating, but then it's more about how you kind of survive and come out of it. You just have to pull yourself and then push yourself and say, yeah, okay, this is what I can do. I look forward to it. You have to enjoy the entire process. If you enjoy the process, then the entire experience is fun and easy. I like to say is that you need to have excellent problem solving and analytical skills, because on everyday basis we have problem solving, be it with respect to the clients or any internal problems, we just solve day in and day out. So that is one thing. And then you have to have excellent communication and presentation skills, because you have to communicate the same to the stakeholders. So that the communication skills which I learned in my B school helped me deliver the content in my internship as well as during the interviews. As I started the internship, the project was pretty new to me. It was like completely, which I didn't learn in my B school. It was like all the basics I had learned about it, but then I had to know more about it. So I kind of reached out to people and I was very curious. I started learning more about it. That curiosity part people expect, and then that kind of helped me connect to the people over there, reach out. Reaching out was a big thing there. You had to reach out. You should not be like, okay, I'll be hesitant and I'll do things on my own. It's just like you have to get the work done, but then reach out to people, know, and then somehow get it done. That was one thing which started. And personally from McKinsey end, I think I had this lot of energy within me. So every time I get on a call, I'll be so enthusiastic and energetic, and then so that kind of brought the difference to the table and like telling, okay, this is like the right fit for us. So yeah, we have constant evaluation throughout the internship, and the presentation was the last leg of it. So even throughout the internship, I always had feedback from my mentors to say, okay, what went wrong, and then I improved on my shortcomings. So in that way, I always reached out and I kept asking for constant feedbacks, like in every bi-weekly or so. That feedback kind of helped me improve myself. And then so when I was presenting the last presentation, I was like, okay, there's some chance that I'll get into it. I didn't have any dilemma as such. I was pretty confident, but there was little fear within me, like telling what if not and all of it. But then yeah, it eventually turned out to be good. I was just like on cloud nine, because it was like the dream company for me, and I was just living my dream on that day. So my department head called me and informed me of it, and then I was like, okay, I was just like blank for 2 minutes just to enjoy the field. And then yeah, I was like, okay, what needs to be done next to go into the company? How do I equip myself better? Even if I've got it, I have to equip myself better to deliver more than my best. So yeah, right now I'm working on learning some programming languages like R and Python, and trying to build models with it, and then trying to learn Tableau and other visualization techniques, so that when I go, it's little bit easier for me. My focus is more towards the women education and girl education, because that's what something which lacks from the place where I come from. I come from a place where like girls are like, they're very sheltered and they're not given that proper education. So always I wanted to be like, okay, let's create some proper schools and give them the right teaching, especially for girls and poor kids. There are many lots of dropouts, and then it's like, okay, so if there's some safe environment for them to learn and develop themselves, then that will be better for the entire society. So I want to uplift the entire society that way, especially from the place where I come from. If I could do it being a girl, I could come up till here and then join a B school and get into McKinsey and work in a top tier consulting firm. Many other people could also do, because they have the equivalent amount of potential which I demonstrate. Apart from that, for an advice to people would be that just be bold and be courageous enough. Take ownership of the work you do, because that is very important. And I think because you take up something and leaving something halfway is just not the right thing to do. Even if it doesn't go well, just stick to it and make it work for you. That's like something which I've been holding on for years together, and I think that's what kind of helped me come and be the person who I am today.